Hey guys, it's JonTaun for Total Brohammer here. Today we will be bringing the Empire against the Dark Elves, and this is a battle replay. Had a good match against the Dark Elves, and if I have a good match against Dark Elves as the Empire, then I'm going to show up. Alright, so let's go over our army compositions here. I've got 4 spearmen in the front line, just screening in front of my army. Unfortunately, they do not have spears, because I was not shields, rather, since I was not able to afford it. Behind that, I have 3 greatsword infantry. You definitely need armor piercing against the Dark Elf front line. You can have Black Arc Corsairs, which will rip apart all your infantry except for great swords. And they have Argonath Executioners, which can basically beat your entire army. So, I've also got the Silver Bullets and 2 handgunners. I've got Volkmar the Grim on his chariot here. He's got the Grand Hammer Sigmar, Shield of Faith, Grand Soulfire, and the Bound Banishment. I've got the Royal Altar Purifiers on my right flank. I've got some Reichsguard over on my left flank. And I have a Light Wizard right in the center here. So my opponent decides to go with the very powerful Darklighter's Repeater Crossbow. And he's got 5 of them. Thankfully, I did screen my army with my cheaper units, and I do have guns, which do outrange him. For his infantry corps, he's got 4 bleak swords in the front, so they have silver shields. They'll beat swordsmen, they'll beat spearmen, and they won't do terrible against flagellants, I don't think. And he's got 3 Argonath Executioners, which, like I mentioned, could basically beat my entire army. For his lords, he's got Malekith on a cold one, and he does have, sorry about that guys, debug camera makes you go through the map a lot. Oh man, they really need to make it so that you can click on units and replays. So he has Power of Darkness, Chill Wind, and Soul Stealer. So basically what I always bring. He's also got a Death Hag on foot, which is an interesting choice. You definitely want a Death Hag on the Blood Cauldron. Fear and Terror will just run through the Empire ranks. Death Hag is so powerful against the Empire, and even if you have 3 gunners focusing it down, your gunners can be intercepted so easily that sometimes it's not enough. So I definitely would have cut one of these guys and gone with a Blood Cauldron, because that could have made all the difference in this battle. Alright, so let's go ahead and kick it into high gear. So he's going to be approaching me with his Dark Riders with the Repeater Crossbows. I'm immediately moving my gunners up into range. And look how much damage I'm going to be doing with each volley here. He goes straight for my greatswords over here, which is a good choice by him, so I'm going to pull him back. I'm going to have my spears come up here just to screen, make these guys run away so I can get some free shots into them. And as you can see, these gunner volleys are doing a lot of damage. So as his army approaches, he's just going to try to get as much skirmish as he can. He's shooting into my handgunners. They are at the edge of the range though, so they're not having the best effect. I'm sending Volkmar up here because he does have a little bit of missile resistance rather. But Malekith does get on him. I'm going to throw in some spears, and Volkmar is not going to fare well against Malekith in a 1v1 fight, so I'm going to pull him out pretty soon. As you can see, he's already taking a lot of damage. So he's going to drop a Chill Wind on my handgunners right here. I'm overextending with the spearmen, just because my micro is bad, so I'm going to pull him back once I realize that. I'm going to have some handgunners shoot at Malekith here, have my spearmen try to hold him up, and I'm going to get my Volkmar into the battle there. So I'm going to have my great swords engage on these bleak swords, my spearmen hold these guys up, get these guys around the corner here, have my gunners keep on shooting at any targets that they can get their hands on. I'm going to drop a net Vamantok here and get in my Royal Altar Purifiers, just to try to do some damage on Malekith and get Volkmar away from Malekith here. Unfortunately, I got the line of sight bug on my gunners here, and they are trying to get into melee, which is very unfortunate. From what I've heard, the line of sight bug has not been fixed in the Tomb King's patch. So I do drop a banishment over here, and it comes through and just absolutely devastates these Argonath Executioners. So basically, most of the reason why I won this battle is because I got a really good banishment. Otherwise, these Argonath Executioners probably would have just got through these great swords and 2 groups of spearmen that were fighting. It also did go through my great swords and did quite a bit of damage, but they came out better than the Argonath Executioners. So with the net Vamantok going down, I'm going to pull out my Royal Altar Purifiers. I also popped Grand Hammer Sigmar while they were nearby. I'm going to send in these spearmen just to try to screen these guys out and hopefully make them run away so they can stop shooting at my Griffites. I have to pull back my Silver Bullets because they engaged well, we're trying to get into melee because of the line of sight bug. So I'm aiming at all these Dark Riders because I can actually hit these Dark Riders with the repeated crossbows. I can't hit the enemy infantry or Malekith really because of my infantry is in the way. But I can hit those Dark Riders with the repeated crossbows. So that's what I'm going to do. I finally engaged my Reichsguard over here, and I have Volkmar just running around through the infantry, just doing as much damage as he can. As you can see, Murderous Prowess has gone down. I see that Malekith is caught out near my Roll of Dark Graphite, so obviously I'm going to net him and get my Roll of Dark Graphite, hitting him up. So I got these Spearmen over here, just making sure these Dark Riders are all over here, not shooting at my Roll of Dark Graphite, and just... I gotta say, Malekith is doing really good in a 1v1 fight with the Roll of Dark Graphite. It's kind of surprising. Or I guess I really shouldn't be surprised. Demigryphs aren't too great anymore. So, still got Volkmar running around. He's doing a lot of damage. This guy is realizing he's wasting ammo on this guy. And he's going to try to get into range of something more valuable to destroy. And he's going to start shooting at these Roll of Dark Graphites, so I'm immediately going to pull him back. I'm going to have these Spearmen over here, ready to string in case these guys want to come into melee against my silver bullets. I had to pull these guys back again, because they kept on getting closer and closer. Malekith does squeak away. He finally gets rid of these Spearmen. And as far as the infantry battle, we're doing okay. I got my great swords holding out right here, but really it's Volkmar the Grim that's doing all the damage here. And he's got 119 kills with that really nice banishment. So he's just going through all the infantry here. And look just at how well these Bleak Swords and Targeted Executioners do against. They're so outnumbered, 2 great sword units, but they'd probably beat them if it wasn't for Volkmar. So thankfully great swords are getting a bit of a buff. I dropped a net of Amatok there because he was trying to pull through some Hargoneth Executioners. And we're doing pretty good here. I got some Spearmen over here that rallied that I haven't noticed yet. Gonna run in here with my Reichsguard to hit these Hargoneth Executioners. As you see, they eventually did beat these guys, even with the support of Volkmar. They did have a little bit of Dark Shard fire coming in though, but it's not really substantial. They don't seem to be firing all too well. So, of course, my infantry line loses, as you expect when you are the Empire against the Dark Elves. But I do have Volkmar left. Malekith is very low on health. He just needs to send these guys into melee. Of course, if he does, I'm going to have these guys pounce on him. So maybe that's not why he's doing that in this particular engagement. But there's plenty of times in the battle where he could have gotten around to my back line and just tied these guys down and stopped them from shooting. So I have Volkmar just keep on running around, running through the infantry. I'm pulling back all my units that routed. I try to drop the banishment because there's no better blobs right now, but he does indeed move. Or at least he's chasing these Reichsguard. And these guys are just chasing Volkmar here. Now this Death Hag is actually doing pretty good against Volkmar here. As you can see, he is losing in combat, but this is a perfect position for which I can just shoot him down. Unfortunately, right now I'm more worried about the Dark Riders, but it looks like army losses are kicking in, and the enemy does indeed shatter. So, not often that you can say that the Empire beat some Dark Elves. Of course, that wasn't the most optimal build, but it was a fun game nonetheless. Let's go ahead and look at the breakdown here. We got Volkmar with 140 kills, Light Wizard with some pretty good nets. Our Spearmen did their jobs of just holding at the front line. As you can see, they barely got any kills. They didn't even get 25 kills between them. Great Swords did a better job at holding at the front line, and thankfully I was able to keep them away from the Dark Riders Peter Crossbows. But really, they were here just long enough so that I could use my gunners, my cavalry, and Volkmar to really do the damage to the infantry. And thankfully, I got a good banishment off, and I think that was really the key to success, because if those Hargoneth Executioners were able to go through that flank, I wouldn't have been able to pile on to their center. And as you saw, even when I did pile on their center from the side and behind, they still ended up winning the infantry fight. That's just how powerful Murderous Prowess and Hargoneth Executioners are, and how weak Great Swords and Spearmen are. For his army, I liked his front line. His front line's okay. Dark Riders with Pure Crossbows are really great. Honestly, the only thing I would really change, I feel like this is a pretty good army against the Empire. The only thing I would change is, like I said, is cut a Dark Rider and get her on a Blood Cauldron. But that's going to be all for this one. A good game to ZED. This is JonTaun for Total Brohammer signing out.